So here's a battle versus, I actually don't know who this is. I met him at ASUN and I didn't really get his name, but his player name is Kenny, so I'm just gonna go by that. And he leads with Smeargle as I lead with Gliscor. And back in my mind, I know this thing has a choice scarf, but I go for the taunt anyway. And he actually switches items with Switcheroo, so my taunt goes to waste. So I go to Tyranitar as he goes into his own Tyranitar, and my Tyranitar is Jolly max speed, so I'm thinking I'll go first, so I go with the Earthquake. And he uses Aqua Tail, and because he does a bit more damage than I do, I'm thinking that he's Choice Banded. But I decided to go for the Earthquake, and actually I go for the Dragon Dance, predicting the switch, and he goes into Gengar. And I'm not going to risk getting outsped by this Gengar, so I'm going to switch out and go into Gliscor. And he Focus Blasts, which doesn't do much, despite Gliscor's relatively low special defense. And he switches out, which leads me to believe this Gengar is choice. So I Stealth Rock as he goes into Smeargle, and I'm semi-predicting the Spore, so I stay in just Stealth Rock for no reason. And I fall asleep, which is good because Gliscor is the best sleep fighter I have right now, since he's sort of crippled anyway. So I go into Scizor as he transforms, and here I use U-turn because if he goes first, he's going to superpower, get a drop, and I'll get some decent damage in. And if I go first, then I can switch into something to resist the superpower. But he goes first, and I take quite a bit of damage, which is pretty bad. And I go into Heatran. And not to overpredict, I go for the Fire Blast here, but I miss as he U-turns out. And he gets a crit on the U-turn, but it doesn't do that much damage. So he goes into Nidoking, and I'm predicting the Earthquake here, so I'm gonna go into Azelf. And I'm gonna do a semi-safe move here. I'm gonna use Flamethrower, and that's great because I catch his Scizor on the switch and KO it. So next he goes into his Gengar, and I'm fearing this thing's Scarfed. So I'm gonna go into Gliscor, and he uses Shadow Ball. And I really don't have a safe switch here, so I stay in. But Gliscor stays asleep, so that's whatever. So he uses Ice Beam. So this is a mixed Nidoking because he packs both Ice Beam and Earthquake. And here I go to Azelf, and I figure it's pretty safe to use Psychic now because his Scizor is gone, so I do that. And he once again goes into his Gengar. And here I switch to Tyranitar, predicting the Shadow Ball, but I actually over-predict here, and he uses Focus Blast, predicting my switch. So that's a pretty bad misplay. Tyranitar goes down, but Tyranitar didn't really have that much HP, and two Shadow Balls just might have KO'd it. So I go into Gengar, and here I over-predict again. I use U-turn to scout a switch instead of just going straight for the Bullet Punch to KO Gengar. And that sucks because I just lost Tyranitar and Scizor for no reason. But I go into Metagross, who I know can take a Focus Blast reasonably well. And that does about half, and I Meteor Mash for the kill. I didn't use Agility here because I didn't want to risk Gengar outspeeding me even after my Agility. So here he goes into Smeargle, and Smeargle's still faster than me even without the Scarf, and he Spores me. And that sucks because Metagross being crippled actually messes me up in this game. But anyway, here I go into Azelf as he transforms, and I predict the Flamethrower here. Actually, I switched to Azelf in the first place because I assumed he was going to transform. And he basically feeds my Heatran's Flash Fire, and Heatran's faster than Azelf. So I'm going to go into Fire Blast. And that does no damage to Kabutops because of Kabutops' quadruple resistance. But I'm looking at my team here, and I really don't have a safe switch against Kabutops. I didn't think this was packing Earthquake, and it actually isn't. It uses Waterfall. So that does that brings Heatran down to 10 HP, but I'm still alive. So I'm just gonna try to get as much damage in this Kabutops as possible. So I keep Fire Blasting, and he actually sneaks in a stealth rock, which sucks because I could have sent it as off there and things would have been so much easier. But it doesn't matter because now Heatran wouldn't be able to come in anyway. So he finishes me off with Waterfall. And here I go into Azelf. Or no, here I go into Metagross, sorry. Just to try to wake up. And he uses Waterfall. And I wake up this turn, but I get the flinch, which really sucks. So, Metagross just, dies because he can't take 2 Waterfalls. But whatever. All I have left now is Azelf, and he can sweep the rest of his team, but with Sandstorm and Life Orb, I'm not quite sure if I can make it. So I just go for the Grass Knot, which KOs Kabutops. And I'm losing about 30 or 40 some HP per hit with Life Orb and Sandstorm. And right here I have 31 HP left, which is just enough for one more Life Orb recoil. I Psychic, KO the Smeargle, and that leaves me with 2 HP, but I win. So that's a great game, Kenny. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and if you ever come across this video, be sure to tell me your real name.